ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be taking some notes. They're labeled Notes 315 on the Google Classroom. You will see that the Google Slides are attached. When you open them up, you'll see that there are the red text boxes for you to fill in. You'll need to just click that and then type in the word as it appears on the YouTube video. If you have any questions, feel free to pause and rewatch any part of this video that is necessary, and make sure that you are emailing me questions if needed. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be discussing the idea of militarism. As we have already talked about, in the Bronze Age, we see the beginnings of strong military forces when they begin to use weapons made out of metal. And as we move into Era 3 and begin to discuss the many different empires, we will see that the military will play a key role. Militarism is the belief or desire of a government or people that a strong military is important and necessary, and that it should be used aggressively in the interests of the nation. Empires had militarism then, which is again a strong belief in their army and the use of force, and that helped them prepare to conquer other peoples. Without a strong army and a belief that it should be used, empires probably would not have developed. And as empires rose and fell during Era 3, we begin to see many different common factors involved. The first being that centers of power shifted, but the same areas were fought over and ruled by different groups. We discussed this with your maps and your driving question on Thursday. New empires often conquered and or abolished existing ones, meaning that they did not start from scratch. For example, Persia conquered the Assyrian territory. Alexander the Great went on to conquer Persia, and then Rome briefly controlled parts of the old Persian Empire as well. And this is when the idea of military conquest is really going to play a key role, as empires are going to believe that their military is as strong as they must use it in order to survive. And this will lead to the conquering of others as a way to show power and gain more land. Over time, the centers of power in Afro-Eurasia shifted westward with the Roman Empire. Previously, we saw that the centers of power were in the Middle East, in areas like Mesopotamia. But as time goes on, they're going to shift west into Europe, centered around the Roman Empire and what will become Italy. Other parts of the story included the development of more trade and exchange, mixing of societies, and cultural diffusion of beliefs, values, and religion. We saw the importance of trade again with our Empire Maps activity, and we discussed it with our driving question on Thursday. We've also spent quite a bit of time talking about cultural diffusion over the last few units. So during Era 3, we begin to see a cycle develop where the same patterns are repeating themselves. Starting with, we have more people and more resources in the area controlled by these empires. And with more people and more resources, the need for central control and government arises. How are we going to make sure that everybody's getting the resources that we need? How are we going to be able to maintain control and make sure that there is law and order? Once that has been established, we see the development of armies, government systems, taxes, etc. So this is where the social institutions that we've spent time talking about since Unit 1 emerge to help maintain control, to help make sure that everybody is again getting what they need to survive. Then we see the need for more people and resources to maintain the Army in power. Again, the Army is going to be the center where people try to devote the most resources, because again, the Army was seen as necessary and expansion was required. And this will lead to conquest and trade, either taking over groups by force or building allies through trade. And again, we've seen that pattern on our maps that we have discussed. And as we talk about militarism, and in your weekly reading this week, the focus on the military will become clear. That being said, that's going to be the end of our notes for today. If you need to rewatch any part of this video, feel free. And as always, if you have any questions or need help, please reach out to me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching.